Hi, my name is Andrea Jones, and this is my final project at Fort Hays State. This is presenting my e-portfolio to highlight some of the key facts and the processes that I've encountered along the way. Looking at my professional and personal goals, I look at myself, I'm loving what I do right now. I'm a middle school teacher for science, and I really enjoy my interaction with my students. I get to have the fun, I get to get the deeper level thinking, the problem solving, all those things that education is about. But within the next 5 years, I can see myself maybe going as an assistant principal or any other building level leadership roles, and I've discovered that my passion really is social and emotional learning. And I just think that goes hand in hand with student success. And I've really started to move more towards that in my teaching and just my overall philosophy and education. Potential 6 to 10 years, maybe a principalship. And within my district, maybe even a smaller district, I really like the relationship building and the small community, and that is really kind of is also a passion of mine. And then potential 10 years, maybe a district level position, looking to help more organization of filtering through processes and overall goals and things. Personal life, my family comes first, and a lot of my things for me to fill myself up, I need to continue to grow as a person, to have personal development, spiritual growth, just something new, exploring new things, and that's just me personally, that fires me up, that fills my bucket up a little bit. And again, family, we have been transient as a family, and we've moved quite a bit. So I really would like to kind of put down some roots and kind of become more of an active member in our community, potentially local government, and then also maybe 10 years just to be more of a leader in our community. I think that's important. Leadership philosophy, I am looking over, I have to laugh. Most of my stuff is always athletically related. And so looking at my philosophy, I wasn't shocked when I had John Wooden on here. This is my person. I'm a K-Stater by trade. But when looking at it, John Wooden, he was a pioneer in leadership before it was even cool or before it was even a thing. He just innately did these things that we are focusing on and people are writing books about and researching, and he had it. He knew it before everyone else, which I think is pretty cool. In theory, looking at leadership, if you have a person with passion and enthusiasm, I really think that cultivates leadership around you, and I feel like that's who I am, and that's how I want to lead. An attitude, I'm a positive person, looking for praise, appreciation, filling other people's buckets up. One of the other thing is, as an athlete, is a team. We accomplish goals. We go through that process. And then, remaining positive, and even when there are hard times, you have to push through it and to keep your goals in mind. The most powerful leadership tool you have is your own personal experience. Thank you, Mr. John Wooden, for being a pioneer. Program of study, I have completed all of my coursework. I started in March of 2017. This is my final piece to the puzzle as I am moving forward, and I'm grateful for the experiences at Fort Hays State. My resume, like I said, I was trying to pinpoint some of the things because I have taught at different locations, different states, different levels. I was trying to think of what is the one thing that I have in common in every school and every district. Is everything I do is student-centered learning environment. It's always about the students. If it's not, then I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Using new practices and just investing in new things and trying to think outside of the bubble. Another thing that I'm pretty proud of is I applied for a position within our district. It's called a Lead Academy. We meet once a month with our district leaders. We have about 30,000 people in our district, and I was one of 10 selected to do this. It has been extremely impactful and helpful. It gives me the opportunity to apply what I've learned in Fort Hays State and kind of real world, from book studies to role playing to just those conversations with leaders within our district who have been there, have done that, who are really mentoring me as a future leader, and it's been super impactful. I touched on this earlier, but one of the things at my current, I've been helping myself and another teacher have kind of been spearheading social emotional curriculum within our school, and it has just become a passion and just so important, and just guiding students in the right direction. And so that's kind of one of the areas of that I'm super proud of that I've been working on the last couple of years. I'm from my undergrad is from K-State, and I will have my master's in school administration from Fort K-State. My annotated bibliography, I kind of felt like I originally was planning on doing more of an eclectic, just kind of array of topics, just things that I thought were important or that I kind of wanted to learn more of from what we had researched throughout the program. But as I looked through it, a lot of my focus has been on social emotional learning. I wasn't too shocked when I read that, but social and emotional learning, and then just kind of looking at it from different perspectives, and I just thought that was really impactful for me. There was a couple, like looking at more diverse learners. There was an article on inclusion, and then as a current science teacher, there was a STEM article about student engagement. And again, it's science, it's STEM related, doesn't have to be science, but STEM related, but that getting that student engagement pieces, we're kind of lacking that, and what can we do to move that forward? And how can we get teachers more involved in that as well? And then the other one I thought was super cool. It was in the beginning stages, but as a new administrator, there was a leadership assessment, and I'm sure there are things out there already which I'm not aware of at this time, but they were developing it. And so I thought that was super impactful to kind of read over what the processes are and how it's evolving, and that was one of my articles as well, so I thought it was pretty neat. I'm going to jump down to some of my activities, and I'm going to just kind of highlight one or two from each of the three levels. I want to start with district. I'm super proud of our district, what they accomplish, and again, we're diverse in one way, but then not the other. So again, I've had some pretty good experiences, and I'm been pretty lucky. One of the things I wanted to talk about, this was through Lead Academy. I had the opportunity to meet with the head of HR, and I had no idea, I was not aware of everything the HR is involved in. And as a future leader, how can you direct your staff? How can you, what resources do you have? And she and her team walked through all of this with us. Then the cool thing was, then we had the opportunity to do some mock interviews and stuff as an administrator, and we kind of walked through that, and it was pretty impactful. So again, I got to the opportunity with our district leaders to walk through that process and apply the things that I'm learning through Fort Hays State. And then you process through it. What would you have done differently? What did you do well? All those kind of things I thought was pretty neat. Sorry. Slow computer. And then I thought this was really neat. Everyone's been to a school board meeting, but I was super proud of our school board meeting. And it was a really passionate meeting. We had, on the docket, there was an amendment for policy, and it went through, basically it was talking about policy board language, and it wanted to be people in the community, family members, they were asking for it to be written, and it passed. But basically, it was just giving a more non-discriminatory statement, more directed for our LGBT community. And I just thought it was super impactful, and the takeaway from that was words matter, whether it's in writing, whether you say it. And I just thought I was really proud of our district for stepping up and making that change. Elementary, I had the most amazing experience. Through Lead Academy, I had the opportunity to do a shadowship with a principal, and I chose elementary because I was out of curiosity to kind of see and see if this was my niche, and it was phenomenal. It really kind of shifted my thinking as a building leader, and it was just, I can't even say enough. So I could talk the rest of my time with this, but one of the things that, and I'm going to highlight not necessarily specific activities, but some of the things that are implemented that direct almost every activity. The social emotional learning, this is a high need, where I was at was a high needs building. It was a title school, high ELL population, just lots and lots of needs, social emotional needs as well. one of the things that the vision, one of the things that they do, they have obviously programs in place, but they focus on weekly, the principal and the counselor and the social worker, they meet on top of all the other weekly meetings just to kind of set up and share a vision and goals and where we're headed. Within this one particular meeting, they took their top 30 kids in the building that needed them the most, and they were intentional. They focus on intentional about what were they specifically doing. They kind of split them up, and how on top of everything else they do, they were making a vision and a goal for those particular students to set them up for success. That to me was wow, super impactful. The other thing that was just knocked my socks off is they have these practices in place, and obviously it's from students, parents, teachers, the zones of regulations. High needs building, they focus on getting kids to green, and this is a program that they have. And I had to experience firsthand where kids are having complete meltdown, where they have walked them through the process. The kids are doing it themselves. They're a balloon, they're breathing, they're doing everything, and it was just amazing. Sometimes I can't even go into words. So again, the experience there. And the last experience that I wanted to share was, this is the model for how to do SIT teams, for student intervention team. This school has so many resources, but they have so many needs. They utilize every single one. SIT team was a day-long process. I mean, it was exhausting, and I was just observing and inputting information when I could. But it was phenomenal, from anywhere from the SPED teachers to the school. He wasn't there. School Skype normally is there, but he was ill. The principal, the social worker, student liaison is her title, the counselor, the ELL teachers, the title teachers. It was amazing. The interventions they had in place, the tools that they had, just the resources. It was probably one of the most impactful things that I have done in a really long time. Okay, so secondary is where I am now. I teach middle school, obviously. So a couple of things, and we do a lot of amazing things in my building. One of the things, and I have had the opportunity to run with them, which I feel very fortunate to do. I will kind of give you a little heads up. But one of the things that and I said this earlier, and I feel really lucky, we have throughout the state, we have social emotional goals, and we implemented our first year. It was on the team, just kind of helping, what can we do? The district purchase system or a program, it's just okay. It needs lots of tweaking for our students. One of the things that we have data collection, student driven. Students go through the process and kind of be able to use this data to drive their social emotional learning. And you can kind of see we have, here's a student, but then we also have school-wide. And so, backwards, student and then district level, and then you can do school, you can kind of fine tune it. And so it's a great tool as long as we're using it for that. And so some of the things I've done with our staff is I help with staff development and kind of teaching and training them how to utilize it and what resources we have. Again, I think this is cool. I've been on the curriculum writing for our curriculum for our specific school. We have a curriculum, but it's not working necessarily for us, so we're modifying it. A lot of social and emotional. I'm going to go to here. This is the part I was kind of talking about, putting in that program. We're utilizing, so we have a 30-minute window once a week, and so I have been part of the curriculum writing, and so obviously we put together a program for teachers to utilize, and it kind of goes through that process. So anyways, at the middle school level, we have the opportunity to do lots of different things. So I want to quickly get to my reflection. One of the things that when I was reflecting upon this program, looking at, am I going to teach? Do I have time to do this? And time for me is a factor. I don't want to not do something wholeheartedly, and so in order to kind of not give quality. So when looking back at this, do I have time? Obviously I had time for the program, obviously I have time to do it, but the ultimate question when I'm looking back is, will I have the same impact and build relationships as a building principal as I do as a teacher? Yes, I can. It will look different, but it's doable, was my ultimate discovery. And I think that's something that we need to continue to work on and to build and create that culture and that climate if that is something that I choose to do as a building leader. So it's doable. I can do it. But I think also looking at a smaller community, I think would benefit me as well. This program has really developed me as not only a leader, but as just a regular classroom teacher.